T.I., the self-proclaimed king of the South, might finally be facing the consequences he's long avoided. Arrests, lawsuits, and decades of legal battles have followed him everywhere. And now, whispers of a serious sentence have fans asking, is this the end for him? At the 2026 Grammy Awards, T.I. announced that Kill the King will be his final album. But with his legal troubles mounting and new conflicts stirring, many are wondering, is this goodbye forever? Let's start from the beginning. Clifford Joseph Harris Jr., born September 25, 1980, known professionally as T.I. or Tip, is an American rapper and actor. Born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia, Harris is credited as a pioneer of the hip-hop subgenre trap music, along with fellow Georgia-based rappers Jeezy and Gucci Mane. Before the prison stints, before the federal investigations, before any of the chaos that now defines so much of his public image, T.I. was a kid from Bankhead, Atlanta with a plan. He met local music executive Kawan K.P. Prather in the late 1990s, joining his company Ghetto Vision Entertainment, an imprint of Arista and Layface Records, by 1999. The lukewarm critical and commercial response of his debut studio album, I'm Serious, 2001, led him to part ways with the label. He then signed with Atlantic Records and found mainstream success with his subsequent releases, co-founding his record label imprint, Grand Hustle Records, in 2003. But success for T.I. always came with shadows. In 1998, he was arrested and convicted in Georgia for distribution of cocaine, manufacturing and distributing a controlled substance, and giving authorities a false name. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison and was released after serving 1 year. That felony conviction at the age of 18 would follow him like a curse for the next 2 decades. After getting out, he channeled that energy into music. Harris gained recognition following his guest appearance on fellow Atlanta-based rapper Bone Crusher's 2003 single, Never Scared, his first Billboard Hot 100 entry. His second album, Trap Music, 2003, peaked at number 4 on the Billboard 200 chart and spawned the top 40 singles Rubber Band Man and Let's Get Away. In 2004, he was busted on a parole violation, just as his career was taking off because of his hit Rubber Band Man. That arrest should have been a wake-up call. It was not. In 2002, there was an instance where he was carrying a 10mm pistol and a 2004 bust, during which authorities found a silencer-enhanced weapon and loads of ammunition. Yet somehow, T.I.'s music career was not just surviving, it was thriving. His next 3 studio albums each debuted atop the Billboard 200. His 4th and 5th, King, 2006, and T.I. vs. T.I.P., 2007, were led by the Billboard Hot 100 Top 10 singles, What You Know and Big Shit Poppin', Do It, respectively. He was on the Forbes list of top-earning rappers. That year, Harris had starred in the film ATL and could be seen in Chevy commercials with NASCAR driver Dale Earnhardt Jr. Harris had been named to the Forbes list of top-earning rappers, banking an estimated $16 million in 2006. Then came October 2007, the arrest that changed everything. The entertainer was taken into custody about 2:30 p.m. ET Saturday in Atlanta, where the BET Awards show was filmed. Harris, the show's top nominee, was up for 9 awards, including CD of the Year and Lyricist of the Year, but he never made it to the stage. T.I. was arrested for attempting to illegally purchase firearms, just hours before he was scheduled to perform at the BET Hip Hop Awards. This was not a small possession charge. Authorities said that Harris provided the bodyguard $12,000 to buy the weapons, which Harris is not allowed to own because he is a convicted felon. Court documents said Harris was convicted on felony drug charges in 1998, and a federal affidavit said he has been arrested on gun charges in the past. The feds had been watching. On Wednesday, authorities said Harris arranged for the bodyguard to pick up $12,000 in cash from a bank to buy the guns. After his arrest, the bodyguard made phone calls to Harris, which authorities recorded. Harris was supposed to pick up the guns after meeting the bodyguard in a shopping center parking lot in Midtown Atlanta. Authorities arrested Harris there without incident. What they found made it worse. Authorities said they found 3 more firearms in the car in which Harris drove to pick up the machine guns and silencers, including 1 loaded gun tucked between the driver's seat where Harris had been sitting and the center console. At his home, authorities found 6 other guns, 5 of them loaded in his bedroom closet. Harris faced a potential 30 years in prison for federal gun charges in 2007. He paid a $100,000 fine and was sentenced to 1 year in prison after completing 1,000 hours of community service while under house arrest. That sentence, a year and a day, was the result of a plea deal. Arrested for attempting to buy machine guns and silencers, T.I. struck a plea deal, serving only a year despite facing up to 10 years. And this is where the first major element of T.I.'s story and 50 Cent's enters the picture. Because when T.I. got that plea deal, 50 publicly labeled Tip a snitch and accused him of cooperating with authorities. That accusation, that T.I. had cut a deal by cooperating, planted the seed for a beef that would simmer for years and then explode in 2026. T.I. served his time on the federal weapons charge. He got out. He did community service. He starred in a reality show about his road to redemption. The multi-platinum rapper also starred in the MTV reality show T.I.'s Road to Redemption 45 Days to Go, which chronicles his efforts to shave years off his sentence by completing his community service. The show features him talking to schools and community groups about how to avoid the trouble he now finds himself in. But then, in September 2010, T.I. was arrested again. He was arrested in Los Angeles on drug charges after authorities said he was found with 4 ecstasy pills. This was while he was still on probation from the federal gun case. Grammy-winning rapper T.I. was sentenced to 11 months in prison on Friday for violating the terms of his probation. The 30-year-old hip-hop star was arrested in September on suspicion of possession of the drug ecstasy. In court, T.I. acknowledged the violation. I screwed up big time, and I am sorry," Harris said before U.S. District Judge Charles Pennell. "I'm truly and sincerely sorry. I don't want and I don't need to use drugs anymore. I want them out of my life." He was sentenced to 11 months. That sentence prompted a direct response from 50 Cent. This led to him being sentenced to another 11 months in jail and prompted 50 Cent to very publicly question why Tiny didn't take the fall for her husband. T.I. did not take that lightly. In a Vibe cover story, he responded, "I'ma tell you, 50 Cent and anybody else, we not gonna have no discussion about what my old lady shoulda, woulda, coulda done for anything as it pertains to me." He continued, "I'm the only one in my family that's gonna take a lick when it pertains to the legal system. Since me, none of my other family members have seen a jail cell. Nobody. I'm the last one. The buck stops here." The two would actually hop on a call and squash it not long after. In December of that year, 50 told Vibe that he and T.I. had settled things in a conversation that got heated, but the legal spiral did not stop. Following his arrest, T.I. scrapped King Uncaged as the title for his 7th studio album and renamed it No Mercy due to his new prison sentencing. He then released the lead single from the newly titled album, Get Back Up, featuring Chris Brown, on the same day that he was sentenced back to prison for violating the terms of his probation. T.I. began serving his sentence in November 2010, and his date of release was set to be September 29, 2011. No Mercy was released on December 7, 2010. The album peaked at number 4 in the US, and it sold over 159,000 copies in its first week. Raya certified No Mercy Gold with over 500,000 copies sold. Then in 2018, another arrest, this time outside his own home. The rapper's attorney released a statement. Tip was wrongfully arrested early this morning when he attempted to gain entrance into his gated community, where his wife, Tiny, and his family reside. The guard was sound asleep when Tip arrived at the guardhouse. It took Tip some time to wake up the sleeping guard. Tip clearly identified himself and sought entry. The guard refused entry. Tip was in contact with Tiny by phone, and Tiny confirmed that Tip should be let in immediately. The guard continued to refuse entry without justification. Words were exchanged, and apparently the guard and/or a supervisor called the police. When the police arrived, they were not interested in hearing Tip's side of the story and wrongfully chose to end the situation by arresting Tip. He pleaded no contest to swearing and all other charges were dropped after an argument with a guard outside his home. He was arrested and charged with simple assault, disorderly conduct, and public drunkenness. Then in 2024, yet another arrest, this time a case of mistaken identity. T.I. was taken into custody at the airport because the Live Your Life hitmaker was recently arrested at the airport after authorities mistook him for a wanted man. Surprisingly, the culprit has the same name as the rapper, Clifford Harris. His attorney claimed he got T.I. released within 2 hours of his arrest. A judge also reviewed and dismissed the extradition order, making his client a free man as he did not match the suspect's weight. That incident happened while T.I. already had legal matters hanging over his head. The 43-year-old certainly didn't need another legal case, given his ongoing sexual assault and battery lawsuit. But more on that later. The pattern here is clear. Arrest, sentence, release, arrest, sentence, release. A cycle that has defined T.I.'s life. The legal history of T.I. goes beyond guns, drugs, and probation violations. Starting in 2021, a wave of allegations threatened to end not just his career, but his freedom. T.I. and his wife Tamika "Tiny" Harris was sued for defamation by Sabrina Peterson, who publicized accusations of abuse against the couple back in January. In a January Instagram post, Peterson accused T.I., real name Clifford Harris, of putting a gun to her head. She then used her account to share statements from over 30 women who claimed they'd been drugged, coerced, or forced into sex and trafficked by the Harrises. Then came a letter from a lawyer, The letter accused the Harrises of engaging in sexual abuse, forced ingestion of illegal narcotics, kidnapping, terroristic threats, and false imprisonment between 2005 and 2018. The fallout hit his career. Since the allegations surfaced, production on T.I. and Tiny was suspended. Reports also surfaced that T.I. would not be involved in the upcoming Marvel movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, despite being part of the previous two Ant-Man films. A source close to the film confirmed that T.I. is not in Quantumania, but added there had previously not been plans for him to return for the third film. Then, in January 2024, another lawsuit was filed. T.I. and his wife, Tiny Harris, faced a new civil lawsuit that claims they drugged and sexually assaulted a woman they met in a Los Angeles nightclub in 2005. In a complaint filed in Los Angeles court, lawyers for a Jane Doe accuser say T.I. and Tiny gave her a spiked drink after she was introduced to them in the VIP section of a club, then brought her back to their hotel room where they forced her to get naked and assaulted her. The case was filed under California's Sexual Abuse and Cover-Up Accountability Act, which created a 4-year window through 2026 for alleged victims to bring cases that would otherwise be barred by the statute of limitations. However, in August 2024, the lawsuit was dismissed. A judge dismissed the sexual assault lawsuit filed against T.I. and his wife, Tiny Harris, after the pair's Jane Doe accuser failed to respond to the couple's motion to dismiss the case in a timely manner. However, the judge left the door open for the woman to file an amended complaint within 21 days. Meanwhile, the Peterson defamation case continued to unravel, but not in the way you might think. The case stalled for years. The case quickly became bogged down in procedural problems. Peterson changed lawyers multiple times, missed key court appearances, and, according to the defense, failed to pursue discovery or move the case forward in any meaningful way. In March 2025, after years of stagnation, Judge Schultz dismissed the suit, also noting that Peterson had not paid any portion of the $96,000 in attorney's fees previously awarded to the Harrises. Peterson tried to reopen the case but failed. T.I. and Tiny's ongoing defamation battle with influencer Sabrina Peterson took another turn. When a Los Angeles judge refused to reinstate the original lawsuit Peterson filed against the married musicians in 2021. In court filings, Peterson claimed her complaint was unfairly dismissed. She argued she was the victim of ineffective lawyers who missed deadlines or failed to advocate for her. Opposing the requested reinstatement, lawyers for T.I. and Tiny argued that Peterson blew through 3 different law firms, was absent at key hearings, and failed to conduct any discovery whatsoever over 4 years. But the legal battle is not over. Despite the setback, Peterson's legal battle with the Harrises is far from over. On the same day her state lawsuit was dismissed, she was served with a separate federal defamation complaint filed by T.I. in Los Angeles. In that ongoing federal case, T.I. alleges that Peterson defamed him through a series of Instagram posts from September 2024 that falsely claimed he was under federal investigation for sex trafficking alongside another celebrity. He says the statements were knowingly false and intended to damage his career. A trial in the federal court case is set for June 2026. That means, as you watch this video, T.I. is heading into a courtroom again, not as a defendant this time, but as a plaintiff. Still, the shadow of those trafficking allegations, the drugging accusations, and the potential for new legal action hangs over everything. The question of a potential arrest tied to any of these unresolved matters is something that continues to follow T.I. everywhere he goes. Against all that backdrop, the arrests, the sentences, the allegations, the lawsuits, T.I. kicked off 2026 by stepping into a full-blown war with 50 Cent. The beef goes back to 2007, as we covered, when 50 called T.I. a snitch after his plea deal. It simmered for years. They squashed it. Then, during the pandemic, T.I. started pushing for a Versus battle. On 50 Cent's 45th birthday, T.I. took to Instagram to offer his well wishes. This was back in the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic, when Versus events had just begun popping off, and Harris used the opportunity of wishing Fifth a happy birthday to challenge him to a battle. In an Instagram video, he said, "Pull your ass up with 20 of your records, man. Sit across from me, man, and get this work, man." In 2021, 50 Cent shut down the idea of doing Versus and suggested it didn't make sense, since the platform itself was basically only for the pandemic. But T.I. would not let it go. Then in early 2026, the whole thing blew up. The issue traces back to comments T.I. made on $1 Million worth of game, where he claimed both sides had agreed to a Versus matchup, and that he was supposed to be the one to announce it. According to Tip, 50 later switched up and played oblivious once the idea was made public, sparking the confrontation. From there, things unraveled fast. Diss records were released, Shots were fired on social media, past feuds resurfaced, and the back and forth moved beyond music, pulling in family members and personal history along the way. What could have remained light speculation has now grown into one of the first real rap beefs of the year. 50 Cent came for T.I.'s family. T.I. and 50 Cent's feud was reignited earlier in February after Tip voiced his confidence in taking 50 out in a potential Versus battle. 50 didn't want anything to do with a Versus, which led 50 to slam Tip and call him King Rat in an Instagram comment. T.I. fired back. "You playing on my name when only one of us a rat in real life. You know I got your paperwork, right?" he wrote. "Your excuses is useless. Get you in the box or STFU and live in fear. You soft son, you've lost my respect." Then 50 posted unflattering images of Tiny Harris, T.I.'s wife. 50 posted some AI-generated memes poking fun at the appearance of T.I.'s wife and son, Tiny Harris and King, and they didn't take kindly to it. T.I. responded with music. As 50 Cent and T.I.'s feud continues to bubble, Tip released a hard-hitting track on Sunday, February 22, fittingly titled War. It appears this could just be a 100-second preview of a longer edition of War, which may be featured on T.I.'s final album, Kill the King, releasing later in 2026. But he did not stop there. In his tracks, The Right One, War, Lessons, and What Bully, he delivers some scathing blows coming for the 50-year-old, 4 diss tracks in a matter of days. In one post, Tip took a sharp jab by calling 50 the dildo dealer. Things escalated further once T.I.'s son, King Harris, got involved, reposting images after 50 shared an unflattering photo of his mother and T.I.'s wife, Tamika, Tiny Harris. King Harris went after 50's deceased mother. King Harris also entered the beef, mocking 50's late mother. 2 of his kids, King and Damani Harris, even ended up getting involved. Both of them went after the G-Unit boss on brutal diss tracks. T.I. later admitted he was not fully comfortable with that. At one point in the interview, he admitted to having some regrets about his children's involvement. "I said that's enough when I seen that damn t-shirt," he shared. "I said, man, chill out. I'm big on treating people the way I want to be treated." He was referring to a t-shirt with 50 Cent's late mother on it, which King wore in the video for one of his diss tracks. Meanwhile, there are rumors that 50 Cent could be making a documentary about T.I. and Tiny. Comedian Tasha K suggested that after the ongoing beef, the Candy Shop rapper has turned to his TV talents. Whilst just a rumor at this stage, with the success of the rapper's previous Netflix documentary, it wouldn't be out of character for 50 to turn to a documentary to expose the couple. Tasha K suggested the 50-year-old is playing checkers and not chess, and is set to delve into T.I. and Tiny Harris' alleged drugging and assault accusations. If that documentary materializes, it would put a spotlight back on every allegation, every lawsuit, and every unresolved legal question in T.I.'s life, including the potential for new arrests if new evidence or witnesses surface. The threat of another arrest has followed T.I. since 2021, and a documentary from someone like 50 Cent, who produced the Diddy documentary for Netflix, could put that threat back into the public conversation in a way T.I. cannot control. Speaking publicly about the beef, T.I. told TMZ, "Man, that was so last week, man. The only thing I have to say, it's very unfortunate, but honestly, I wasn't here to defeat, I was here to defend." And on the Ebro Laura Rosenberg show, he gave a broader take. "I'm real big on treating other people the way I want to be treated. And I'm also real big on treating Mother Machines the fucking way they decided they gonna treat me," he added. And ultimately, all of the quietness that we're witnessing right now from Dude, 50 Cent. What would have happened if that quietness was practiced at the beginning? Absolutely nothing. Other rappers have entered the fray. Benzino didn't find the humor in 50 Cent's joke and decided to take things to another level. On Monday, March 2nd, fresh out of the hospital, Benzino stopped for a brief interview wearing a t-shirt with a picture of a young 50 Cent and his mother. Speaking with the interviewer, Benzino stated, "You can get this in all colors." He also encouraged his nemesis to stop crying and get in the booth. This beef is not slowing down. And for T.I., it is playing out at the same time as pending legal matters. A federal defamation trial scheduled for June 2026, and lingering questions about whether any of the trafficking and assault allegations could lead to criminal charges. So after all of this, the 1998 drug conviction, the 2007 federal gun arrest, the year-and-a-day sentence, the 2010 probation violation, the 11-month sentence, the 2018 arrest outside his own home, the 2024 mistaken identity arrest, the sexual assault lawsuits, the defamation battles, the 50 Cent war, T.I. says he is done. Kill the King is the upcoming 12th and final studio album by American rapper T.I. It is set to be released through Grand Hustle Records via Epic Records. He has been planning this exit for years. In February 2017, during an interview with the Breakfast Club radio show, T.I. revealed he would retire from making music after 3 more solo albums. "I'm ready to get the hell out of here, though. I got this next album and 3 more albums in my head conceptualized. Once I get them out, I'm done." The title itself is a metaphor. "Kill the King." It is a metaphor for killing the ego, T.I. explains. "Long before I was a nationwide name, I made a decision to claim King of the South, and I did. But I've seen over time that a lot of my infractions and disagreements and back and forth with people was because of how they felt about that. As I evolve and elevate my consciousness, as I get to grow, learn, and develop as a human being, I found that there's nothing more important than peace of mind." At the Grammy Awards in February 2026, he made it official. T.I. has previously said "Kill the King" will be his final album, and he reiterated that decision at the Grammy Awards Sunday night. When asked about his new music, T.I. mentioned his song "Let 'Em Know," produced by Pharrell, and referred to it as the first single off of my final album. "I'm gonna be done. They should know it. I've said it before. It's time," he told Entertainment Tonight. "I think I have many gifts that God has given me that I can spend more time and attention on, and spend more time at home with my family and my grandchildren." The lead single, "Let 'Em Know," produced by Pharrell, dropped in January 2026 and earned T.I. a milestone. Tip earned his first solo Billboard Hot 100 entry in more than a decade with "Let 'Em Know." He has also confirmed collaborations for the album. The ATL rapper-actor did not hesitate at all and replied, "I would love that." Additionally, T.I. announced that Weezy F Baby will appear on his forthcoming final album, titled "Kill the King." The Atlanta artist has positioned "Kill the King" as his final studio album, framing the project as a carefully considered conclusion rather than a sudden farewell. Earlier this month, he released "Let 'Em Know," a new single produced by Pharrell, which sets the tone for the album. The track serves as an announcement of intent, signaling that this chapter has been approaching for some time. He explained that his focus has shifted toward family and other creative pursuits, describing the album as a form of closure rather than an exit driven by burnout. After retiring from music, T.I. will pursue comedy, family life, and other ventures. But here is the thing. T.I. is saying goodbye to rap. He is not saying goodbye to courtrooms. The trial is scheduled to begin on June 9th, 2026. That federal defamation case with Sabrina Peterson is heading to trial. Peterson has filed counterclaims. She has accused T.I. of smearing her reputation. T.I. has accused her of defaming him with false trafficking claims. One of them is going to lose, and the consequences could go beyond a civil judgment. Peterson has not been quiet. She also accused the couple of involving their son, King Harris, with an alleged trafficking victim. Whether any of these allegations ultimately lead to a criminal investigation or arrest is the question that nobody can definitively answer. But the allegations remain in the public record, and the federal trial in June 2026 could surface new evidence, new testimony, or new directions entirely. Los Angeles County prosecutors previously said they declined to file any charges against T.I. and Tiny over an alleged 2005 sexual assault reported to police. Prosecutors said the alleged incident was outside the 10-year statute of limitations, so criminal charges from that specific incident are off the table. But the ongoing public accusations, the federal court proceedings, and the documentary rumors from 50 Cent mean that T.I.'s legal story is not finished. And then there is the 50 Cent situation. The most compelling part about the recent friction between 50 Cent and T.I. is that it's now turned into an intergenerational feud. With King Harris and Damani Harris both dropping diss tracks, with Benzino wearing t-shirts of 50's mother, with rumors of a documentary, this beef is not going away. And for T.I., a man whose legal record stretches back to 1998, any escalation, any confrontation, any incident carries the potential for arrest. His history guarantees that. A man with his record cannot afford another legal misstep. And the reality is, every public confrontation carries that risk. So is this goodbye forever? T.I. is 45 years old. He has been arrested more times than most people can count. He has been sentenced to prison multiple times. He has faced federal weapons charges, drug charges, assault charges, probation violations, and allegations of sexual abuse. He has lost a Marvel movie role. He has been sued repeatedly. He is heading to trial in June. He is in the middle of a public war with one of the most vindictive figures in hip-hop, and he is releasing what he says is his last album. Ever since my first album, I've put the title of King of the South on me, and to make yourself the king is to make you a target. And in chess, the object is to kill the king. So Kill the King is the title of my last album. Will they kill him, or will he ride into the sunset happily ever after? That question, will they kill him or will he ride into the sunset, is the question that defines T.I.'s entire story. The courts have sentenced him multiple times. The allegations have followed him for years. The beef with 50 Cent has escalated to a level that involves family, deceased relatives, and potential documentaries. A federal trial is months away, and through all of it, T.I. is trying to walk away from rap, from the persona, from the crown. Whether the law, the lawsuits, and the enemies let him do that in peace, that remains to be seen.